Awakening is often described in books and social media posts as if it were a gentle sunrise, a moment where everything becomes peaceful and beautifully clear. But chosen one, the truth is far from that picture. Awakening feels more like a storm ripping through every corner of your life, tearing down illusions, exposing hidden wounds, and forcing you to see what you've spent years ignoring. It is not a smooth ride, it is a shaking. This is why many people who step into the journey give up. They were never told that the path would be so raw, so demanding, and so lonely. Yet here you are, listening to this message on Anointed Era, because deep down you know the storm you're walking through isn't meant to destroy you, it's meant to transform you. Think about what happens when a building is renovated. Before the beautiful design is revealed, the old walls must be broken, the dust must rise, and everything has to be stripped down to its foundation. That's what spiritual awakening does to a chosen one. It dismantles the fake smiles, the shallow conversations, and the false identities you once wore. Suddenly, you no longer feel at home in the places you once loved. Food tastes different, music hits differently, and even silence feels louder. These are not signs that you're losing it. They are signs that your old self is dissolving, making way for the higher self to emerge. It is painful, yes, but so is the process of birth. And in the same way a newborn must leave the womb to breathe new air, you must leave behind the comfort of illusions to breathe in the truth of your calling. Here's the hard reality, and I'll be honest with you because Anointed Era isn't here to sugarcoat. Many chosen ones don't make it through. The pressure becomes too heavy, the loneliness too unbearable, and the confusion too overwhelming. But you must remember this. If you are here watching this message, it means you are one of the few meant to endure. God, the universe, or whatever name you choose for the divine didn't bring you this far to abandon you now. That storm you are in is proof of your strength. So hold on. And while you're here, pause for a moment. Hit like on this video if these words already resonate with your spirit, and subscribe to Anointed Era so you never have to walk this journey alone again. Tell me in the comments, what was the very first moment you realized your awakening had begun? Was it a sudden event or a slow shift you could no longer ignore? Reason 1. Isolation and loneliness. One of the hardest parts of awakening is the crushing weight of isolation. The moment your spirit awakens, you realize the people around you often can't meet you where you are anymore. Friends who once made you laugh now feel distant. Family members might roll their eyes when you speak about your growth. Suddenly, you feel like a stranger in your own home, misunderstood by those who once claimed to know you best. This loneliness can feel like punishment, but in truth, it is preparation. Psychologists say loneliness triggers the same part of the brain as physical pain, and for chosen ones, this pain cuts even deeper because it's spiritual. You're no longer satisfied with small talk or surface-level living. You crave depth, authenticity, and purpose. But until you meet others on the same journey, you walk through the wilderness alone. Many collapse under this weight, confusing their solitude with abandonment, when in reality it is alignment. Here's the truth. Isolation is how your soul learns to hear its own voice. It is in those nights where tears fall on your pillow that the deepest revelations often arrive. You are not being punished. You are being refined. Reason 2. Emotional overload and sensitivity. When your awakening begins, your emotions no longer feel like gentle waves. They feel like tidal floods. A song that once made you smile now leaves you in tears. The sadness of others becomes your sadness, and the pain of strangers feels as heavy as your own. This sensitivity isn't weakness. It's the sign that your soul has awakened to the interconnectedness of life. But it is overwhelming, and many chosen ones feel crushed under the weight of emotions they can no longer ignore. Neuroscience tells us that empaths have stronger mirror neurons in the brain, meaning they literally feel the emotions of others more intensely. For chosen ones, this gift is amplified during awakening. But what begins as a blessing often feels like a curse. Without strong boundaries, you end up drained, exhausted, and questioning if you're too fragile for this world. That is why so many chosen ones abandon their journey. They can't manage the storm of feelings rising inside them. But here's the key to thriving. Sensitivity is not your downfall, it is your compass. When you channel your emotions instead of suppressing them, you discover their purpose. Grounding rituals, meditation, journaling, and prayer can help you process without drowning. Think of your sensitivity as a radar, guiding you toward your mission. Reason 3. Attacks from negative energies. The deeper your awakening, the more resistance you feel. Things that once seemed simple suddenly become complicated. Unexpected setbacks, unexplained heaviness, and spiritual attacks begin to surround you. Many chosen ones describe their dreams becoming chaotic, their energy feeling drained, and their peace being disrupted the moment they commit to their path. This is not coincidence, it is confirmation. Light always attracts attention, especially from shadows. The mistake many make is believing these attacks mean they are failing. In reality, they mean the opposite. If you weren't carrying power, the enemy would not bother you. Spiritual warfare only targets those who are rising. Sadly, many chosen ones quit here because the pressure feels too intense. But quitting is exactly what negative energies want. Because if you rise, you will change not only your life but the lives of others around you. Thriving here requires preparation. Just as a soldier wears armor into battle, you must equip yourself daily with prayer, affirmations, meditation, and strong spiritual boundaries. Reason 4. The collapse of old identities. When awakening begins, you quickly realize you are not who you once thought you were. Your career, your relationships, your hobbies, and even your personality start to feel like costumes you've been wearing just to survive. The hardest part, watching those old versions of yourself die. Many chosen ones struggle here because it feels like losing everything, when in truth, it's the birth of who they always were. Imagine a caterpillar clinging desperately to its old form. It doesn't yet know that breaking down into nothing inside the cocoon is the only way to emerge as a butterfly. That's exactly what happens during awakening. Your ego crumbles, your attachments fall apart, and your safe identity no longer fits. Psychologists call this the ego death, a painful but necessary part of transformation. Most people resist it because it feels like losing control. But here's the truth. You are not losing yourself, you are remembering yourself. The false layers are falling away so that your original essence can shine. Reason 5. The pain of being misunderstood. One of the most heartbreaking parts of awakening is realizing that the people you love most may never truly understand you. You try to explain your visions, your dreams, your inner growth, but they look at you with confusion, or worse, with judgment. It feels like speaking a different language in your own home. This rejection cuts deeply, leaving many chosen ones feeling silenced and invisible. History is full of examples of visionaries who were misunderstood in their time. Nikola Tesla was mocked, Martin Luther King Jr. was opposed, and countless prophets were doubted. Being misunderstood is often proof that you are carrying something the world is not yet ready to accept. But that doesn't make it easier. It hurts when friends gossip, when family distances themselves, when coworkers roll their eyes. Many chosen ones break here, not because they lack vision, but because they lack support. But let this truth anchor you. You were not called to be understood, you were called to be authentic. And in time, those who doubted you will witness the fruit of your journey. Reason 6. The battle with doubt and fear. Doubt is perhaps the heaviest chain that tries to drag chosen ones back into sleep. Every time you take a step forward, fear whispers, "What if you fail?" Every time you hear a divine nudge, doubt interrupts, "What if you're just imagining it?" These voices are relentless. And sadly, many chosen ones mistake these whispers as truth instead of recognizing them as distractions. Science shows us that fear activates the amygdala in the brain, triggering a fight-or-flight response. In awakening, this system goes into overdrive because you're stepping into the unknown. Fear convinces you to return to the comfort of the old, even when it was killing you. But here's the paradox. The only way out of fear is forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving despite it. This is why faith is so vital. Whether you pray, meditate, or declare affirmations, You must remind yourself daily that your journey has a purpose. The fact you're still here means you're stronger than you think. Reason 7. The pressure of responsibility. Awakening doesn't just reveal who you are, it reveals what you're responsible for, and that responsibility feels heavy. You begin to sense that your words carry weight, that your actions inspire others, and that your life is no longer just your own. This realization is empowering, but it can also be terrifying. Many chosen ones collapse under the pressure of carrying a mission that feels too big for their shoulders. Think about it. Leaders, healers, innovators, and visionaries often struggle with the weight of expectation. Moses doubted his ability to speak. Gandhi feared the enormity of his mission. Even modern leaders face sleepless nights wondering if they're enough. You, chosen one, are no different. Awakening places a crown of responsibility on your head long before you feel ready to wear it. And that crown often feels like a burden before it feels like an honor. But here's what you must remember. You were chosen precisely because you can carry it. The universe does not call the qualified, it qualifies the called. Every challenge you face is shaping you into the person who can handle the weight of your destiny. Reason 8. The financial struggles during awakening. One of the most surprising and painful parts of awakening is the sudden financial shift many chosen ones face. It feels like the more spiritually aligned you become, the more unstable your finances get. Jobs collapse, opportunities vanish, and old ways of making money no longer bring satisfaction. This creates immense fear because the world runs on resources, and without them, survival feels impossible. Many chosen ones misinterpret this season as punishment, when in reality, it's redirection. Studies show that career dissatisfaction is at an all-time high, with nearly 70% of people feeling unfulfilled in their work. For chosen ones, that emptiness becomes unbearable. Awakening forces you to let go of jobs and roles that suffocate your soul, even if they once paid the bills. This is why so many awakened souls experience financial drought. It's not because they're cursed, but because their old source of provision is being cut off to push them into purpose-driven provision. Here's the truth. Your provision will eventually align with your purpose. The path may be difficult, but it's temporary. This season teaches you how to rely on faith, creativity, and divine timing instead of just a paycheck. Remember, chosen one, your abundance will flow once you align with your mission. Reason 9. Physical exhaustion and spiritual burnout. Awakening doesn't just happen in your spirit, it manifests in your body. Many chosen ones feel constantly tired, drained, and physically overwhelmed. It's not just lack of sleep, it's the weight of transformation running through your veins. Your body is processing decades of stored trauma, unhealed emotions, and energetic shifts. This leaves you feeling like you're running a marathon, even if you barely moved all day. Science backs this up. Emotional stress releases cortisol, which over time weakens the immune system, drains energy, and leaves you fatigued. But what you're experiencing isn't just stress, it's spiritual detox. Your body is literally rewiring itself to carry a higher vibration. The fatigue is your body's way of saying, slow down, rest, integrate. Sadly, many chosen ones ignore this and burn themselves out, leaving them discouraged and questioning the journey. But here, the encouragement. Exhaustion is not failure, it's evidence of progress. Just like muscles ache after training, your soul aches while strengthening. Instead of fighting it, honor it. Rest, hydrate, eat nourishing foods, and give yourself permission to pause. At Anointed Era, we remind you that rest is part of awakening, not weakness. So, chosen one, have you allowed yourself to rest without guilt? Or do you still push through at the cost of your peace? Reason 10. Losing interest in the old world. As your spirit awakens, the things you once enjoyed often lose their flavor. Parties, gossip, endless scrolling on social media, all of it starts to feel meaningless. You sit in conversations and feel disconnected, wondering why you can't go back to normal. This emptiness is painful because it feels like you've lost your joy. But in truth, your soul is simply outgrowing old pleasures. Think of it like a child who outgrows their favorite toy. The toy isn't bad, it just no longer satisfies them. In the same way, your soul craves depth and authenticity. The distractions of the old world no longer entertain you because your spirit is hungry for truth, love, and purpose. But this is exactly where many chosen ones break. They can't handle the boredom of letting go, so they return to old habits that once numbed them. Reason 11. Intense dreams and spiritual messages. Another common challenge during awakening is the flood of vivid dreams, visions, and strange synchronicities. Chosen ones often wake up at 3 a.m. with their heart racing, wondering what the symbols in their dreams mean. Numbers like 11 appear everywhere. Conversations feel like secret messages. Songs play at just the right moment. It's as if the universe is speaking directly to you, but sometimes the volume is too loud to handle. Psychologists might label this as heightened pattern recognition, but chosen ones know it's more than coincidence. These dreams and signs are guiding you, nudging you toward your destiny. But because most people around you don't understand, you start to feel crazy. You question your sanity, asking yourself, am I imagining all of this? This doubt makes many abandon their awakening, thinking they're losing touch with reality. Reason 12. The breakdown of relationships. Awakening often acts like a magnifying glass, revealing the cracks in relationships that once seemed unbreakable. Suddenly, you notice the unhealthy dynamics, the lack of authenticity, and the weight of connections that no longer serve your soul. Friendships fade, romantic partnerships crumble, and even family bonds feel tested. This leaves chosen ones grieving, not just people, but versions of themselves that existed in those relationships. Sociologists say that humans evolve through stages of identity, and as they shift, their social circles often change. But for the awakened, these shifts feel more dramatic because you're not just changing interests, you're changing frequencies. People who once matched your vibration now feel distant, as if you're speaking across a canyon. It's heartbreaking because you may still love them, but love no longer equals alignment. Many chosen ones quit here because the loneliness feels unbearable. But here, the reframe. Every relationship that falls away makes room for divine connections. You're not losing love, you're being prepared for higher love. True companions, soul-aligned friends, and divine partners will arrive when you are ready. Reason 13. The overwhelming need for purpose. Once you awaken, life without purpose becomes unbearable. The idea of just existing feels suffocating. You begin to question everything. Why am I here? What was I created for? What impact will I leave behind? These questions burn in your chest like fire, and until you find the answers, nothing else feels satisfying. For many, this desperate search for meaning becomes the hardest part of awakening. Studies show that people with a sense of purpose live longer, healthier, and more fulfilled lives. But purpose doesn't come in a neatly wrapped package. It often reveals itself in fragments, through struggles, passions, and divine nudges. Chosen ones wrestle here, because the weight of knowing they're meant for more clashes with the frustration of not yet seeing the full picture. Some give up, believing they have no purpose, when in truth, they simply haven't uncovered it yet. Reason 14. The clash with society's expectations. Awakening makes you painfully aware of how much society runs on autopilot. You see people chasing money, status, and trends while ignoring their souls. The pressure to conform becomes suffocating, because every billboard, commercial, and conversation tells you what you should be doing. But your spirit screams against it, leaving you torn between following the crowd and following your truth. Sociologists call this role strain, the conflict between societal expectations and personal authenticity. For chosen ones, the strain is magnified. You're told to be practical, but your soul longs for freedom. You're pressured to fit in, but your heart aches to stand out. This tension often leads to feelings of guilt, shame, or rebellion. Many chosen ones collapse here, believing they're failures because they don't match the system. Reason 15. The ultimate transformation into your higher self. At the end of awakening, something miraculous happens. After the storms, the heartbreaks, the losses, and the tears, you realize you are no longer the same person. The things that once broke you no longer have power. The doubts that once chained you now serve as stepping stones. You begin to see life through a new lens, not as a victim of your past, but as a vessel of purpose. This is the stage most people never reach because they gave up too soon. But for those who endure, it is nothing short of rebirth. Spiritual teachers often call this integration. It is the merging of your human self and your higher self into one harmonious being. You don't escape the world, you embody wisdom within it. You don't run from your wounds, you carry them as proof of survival. This is when your presence itself becomes healing. People feel your energy before you even speak. And your very existence becomes the testimony that awakening is not just about survival, it's about transformation. Chosen one, awakening is not for the faint of heart. That's why so many don't survive it. They turn back at the first sign of pain, they give up at the first taste of loneliness, or they return to the comfort of illusions because the truth felt too heavy. But not you. The fact that you're here, listening, learning, and pressing forward proves you are built for this. You are not just surviving your awakening. You are becoming the proof that it can be endured and transformed into something extraordinary. Every reason others fail is the same reason you will succeed. Loneliness became your training ground, pain became your teacher, loss became your doorway, and fear became your fuel. You are not broken by awakening, you are reborn by it. And your story will be the very light that helps another chosen one find their way. Remember, you were never meant to stay asleep. You were meant to awaken, rise, and lead. So as we close this message, I invite you, if these words resonated with your spirit, make sure you like this video, subscribe to Anointed Era, and share it with someone who needs encouragement today. And don't just watch, participate. Comment below, what part of your awakening journey has challenged you the most, and how did you overcome it? Your words could be the lifeline for another soul tonight. Chosen one, you are living proof that awakening is survival, and survival is transformation. Never forget it.